Hello, welcome to Mr. Tech Studio. So today's video topic is Power BI storage mode. Let's look at the topic. So in this particular video, we are going to talk about storage modes in the Power BI. What is the import mode? What is the direct query mode? And what is the dual mode? Let's look at the definition of the storage mode. So storage mode is basically refers the way you connect to your data source and how data is being stored into the Power BI report and how your data set is going to query the data itself and bring back that data to the Power BI and load the visualizations. So it is the type of connection you make while connecting your data source. There are three type of storage modes available in the Power BI. One is the import mode, another is direct query mode, and third one is the dual mode. Let's look at the import mode. What is the import mode? So import mode is like the type of data connection in which you actually import your data set and create a snapshot in a memory. In Power BI storage import mode actually use a Vertipack engine to store the data in memory and then do the query very fastly and achieve the highest performance using the import mode. There are advantages and disadvantages of the import mode, definitely. So let's look at the advantages first. You can achieve the highest performance since data is available in memory. Complex calculations can be done because all the data and along with the data structure is available in memory so that you can perform any sort of transformation. Offline availability. So this is one of the advantage when your data source is not available and you are doing the historical data analysis that can be also achieved when it comes to your data source is not available. Flexibility. So user can perform any level of complex data transformation in the data model because data is available in memory and that is not actually possible into the direct query mode. There are obviously disadvantages also associated with the import mode. So data refresh is one of the disadvantages, or I would say that management overhead. You need to refresh your data periodically and you have to set up the periodic data refresh. If you are using on-prem data sources, then you need to set up the data gateway connection, and we will talk about the data gateway connection later on in some other day in another video. But you have to set up the data gateway to connect your on-prem data source with the Power BI services to refresh the data. There is a limitation on the in-memory data storage, which is 1 GB per data set. So that is another disadvantage. And storage is associated with the Power BI service or Power BI report server as well. So that is also increase your cost when it comes to using the import mode in the Power BI. The second storage mode is the direct query mode. So basically it is the live connection to the data source directly. So whenever you basically do make any connection with the data source, you make the live connection and fetch the data from directly source, bring back that data to the Power BI file, and then you load your data. So only the advantage of this particular direct query mode is to do the real-time analysis when it comes to doing the real-time data analysis and find the insights with the real-time data. There are advantages and disadvantages also associated with the direct query mode. So let's look at the advantages first. The real-time data is available and without any periodic refreshness. So that is one of the advantages. When it comes to data volume, if your data table size is more than 1 GB, the data or you are using the large data sets, then you can use the direct query mode as well. There is always a storage efficiency and less management overhead because you always make the direct query connection with the data source. The disadvantage is obviously the performance since data is not available in memory. So whenever you need to load any dashboard or visual, you have to query the data to directly to the data source, bring back that data to the Power BI file, and then load the visual. So always there is a overhead of the performance. There are limited transformation available. That is another disadvantage of the Power BI direct query mode, because you cannot do the transformation uh, in the direct query mode, since data you have the data structure directly connected to be loaded from original data source. It is also depend on the data source. Let's suppose your data source is not available, then your Power BI report is not going to be load. It will give you the network latency slowness, or the error if data set is or data source is not available. Fourth one is the security constraint. Since many organizations require the compliances, government compliances, so they set up the firewall or the security mechanism behind the data source. In that particular scenario, direct query mode is one of the uh, not possible kind of connection when it comes to the firewall is enabled or the VPN is enabled behind the data source itself. Now look at the comparison table of the import mode and direct query mode. You can here pause the video for few seconds as per your convenience and look at each of the feature comparison in the import mode and direct query mode. Uh, all of those we have already discussed in our previous slides. So you can pause your video as per your convenience and look at the this particular table. Now, third one is the dual mode. So the dual mode is the kind of composite model in which import mode and direct query mode both actually bring to that Power BI data model, and it is usually called as hybrid approach because you make both type of the connection, import mode and direct query mode connection. The advantages of the dual mode is like flexibility. So when it comes to having the large data set to be connected with the a real-time data set, and you have to also do the historical analysis, then you can achieve this with this hybrid dual mode connection. Obviously, like depending upon the type of analysis and reporting you are doing, performance optimizations are there. Data freshness is always available with the direct query mode, so you can do the direct query mode for your critical data analysis, and if you want to do the historical data analysis, then you can always keep your data in memory. Scalability also achieved using the hybrid approach, because you always maintain the direct query mode with your large data set, and the smaller data sets are available, and periodic refresh basically increase the scalability. The advanced modeling can also be performed with the limited option on the direct query mode, while you can actually perform all your uh, the advanced transformation into import mode connection always. The disadvantage is like it increase the complexity, because you join two different type of tables which are connected in different query modes, so that actually increase the complexity. The performance variability depending upon the type of connection you have, and network latency is there. In memory data size is also there, so the performance variability depending upon how many tables you are having in direct query mode and how many tables are you are having into the import mode connections. Limited direct query capability is always there in the direct query mode, so when uh, you do use more direct query in your data set, then definitely the direct query capabilities limit your transformation and DEX functions. Always dependency on the data in terms of the direct query connection. So your dual mode data dependent data model actually dependent upon query latency as well as your availability of the data source. And security considerations are always there, as we discussed in earlier slide. So depending upon the data governance challenges and policy implemented by the organization, it is always hard to implement into a dual mode. So that's all about this storage mode in the Power BI. Comment all of your questions in the comment section, and I'll reply. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe our channel for such more videos. Thank you.